All right, so I had a little problem here I wanted to discuss and show what fix I've done for it. On the 460 and actually many engines of the late 80s, mid 80s, basically after they started doing the air smog pumps. And the air smog pump would be right here, but I removed it because I live in Alabama and I don't need emission testing. Thank goodness. So what happens was this pipe right here. This is a water inlet pipe, water pump inlet pipe, and it goes from that new heater line right there. I just replaced that. It goes from there into the water pump right at that little threaded hole right there. And this is the part that goes in there. Well, I replaced the water pump, no problem. But when I took this out, it had some problems. It wouldn't go back in correctly. You see how it seats like this. It has to be threaded all the way in. Well, it was leaking from up here at the top of this little nut here, this little fastener. So what I did, it went like this. And the reason it was like this is because it had to go around that smog pump. Well, since I don't have the smog pump anymore, I'm going to do something else about this. This piece right here from Ford is about $100. Yeah, this little crappy piece of metal, $100. I tried Rock Auto and all the box stores, O'Reilly's, all that stuff. None of them have anything close to this. So we're just going to get rid of this, and instead I'm going to use these fittings here from Lowe's. I picked these up. This is a 3/4 inch barb on the top, and then it threads. I had to buy two pieces. They didn't sell a one piece. Somewhere might have it, but basically what you need is a 3/4 inch barb. So I had to buy this adapter here, 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch, like that. So I'll screw those together and put those in there. The other problem is, if you look down here, I have the alternator and the bracket. Now that bracket holds both the alternator and the smog pump. Let me show you over here what I did. This is the top part of that bracket. No, I didn't chew that off. That was a plasma cut. This bracket used to, let's see if I can get this right, used to look like this. It was a one-piece bracket. The smog pump went up at the top there, the alternator's at the bottom. I cut this off, and then I did I cleaned it up a little bit, very, very little bit, and painted it so it wouldn't rust. Because we don't need all this anymore. I don't need this top bracket. It didn't connect to anything. Actually, this part was broken anyway when I got the truck, so it didn't matter. And so what that'll do is when that is in there, the new barb will come straight out from the water pump right here. I'll show you. All right, as you can see, I have the new brass fitting in, and this right here, that will go right there. And there will be plenty of room in there to tighten the hose and to loosen it if you need to. And even if if that fitting leaks a little bit, I can still reach in there and tighten it with a socket, or from the side you can actually reach it with an open end wrench. So there you have it. I have the bracket in. You can see there's plenty of room for that hose to clear right there. I have everything tightened up. Over on this side, I don't know if you can see it, but you can actually still get in there and you can still tighten that screw for the hose, and you can reach from this side right under here with an open end to adjust that brass valve if you need to. So now all that's left to do is get that alternator hooked up, get the fan shroud back on, and fill this thing up with some coolant and pray that it doesn't leak. Looks like no leak. If you're curious about the part numbers on this, the 3/4 inch barb and 3/4 inch threaded is right here. That's the part number from Lowe's. And then here's the other one. Now this one, if you can find a better one, this is actually a hose adapter. It does a trick. It's still brass and everything, but it's a 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch adapter. It's female into with a male, and this one is male, barb to male. So there's the part number for that right there. So hopefully that helps you out. All right, so there's a couple extra things I wanted to point out for this repair. Number one, when you get this fitting, this is the 3/4 inch barb to 1/2 inch male right here. Make sure that you don't get this tapered, I think it's called a compression fitting in the brass, these brass adapters here. I went into Ace Hardware, and you know how at Ace Hardware where you walk in there and they're like, can I help you, can I help you? And they won't let you like go look. It drives me crazy. Well, usually I say, no thank you, I'm all set, I don't need any help. Well, this time I was kind of in a hurry, so I said sure. And I tell the kid, exactly what I'm looking for. 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch. So he goes and he gets this one for me, and I didn't even double check. So this is no good because these threads are actually different than a normal 1/2 inch brass pipe fitting. This won't fit. So this was a mistake. This is probably $13 combination right here. Waste of money. So the other thing I wanted to say is make sure you use plenty of gasket maker. I got this high temp. This is the red stuff. There's a lot of different ones that are made for this. There's actually one that's made specifically for water pumps, and you can use that because it's good for what do they call that stuff in coolant, like glycol or something like that. It's really good. It doesn't get affected by that chemical, whatever it's called. And this one's high temp though, so I went ahead and I got this one because I know that it's going to be a high temperature situation. And so far it's worked well. It's been a couple days, but it sealed it right up. Now I did it without this the first time, and I paid for it because it leaked. And so I went back. I had to take it all back apart. But luckily, because of the fix I did with the bracket and the way I cut it out like that, I was able to just take that hose off, the hose that went to the heater core, take that straight off, and I got a socket in there, and I was able to get it off with a socket instead of taking that whole bracket back apart, which is a nightmare. So that's another bonus for having that little cutout in that bracket, is you can just get a socket right in there. But that brings me to my third point, which is you're going to have this part right here is I think it's 1 1/16 socket that I could get on there to get that part off. But since this is 2 pieces, this here is 1 1/8. This is a cheap Chinese wrench here, so I didn't really care. I just went out and I got it for a couple bucks. But it's 1 1/8, and you're going to need that. Well, at least on my truck I needed it because it wouldn't fit. This whole length here wouldn't fit up to my radiator. So I cut it, got it on there, and I actually got a curved breaker bar that went up. So I was able to adjust that from the side. Remember I showed you the part with the under the bracket where you could get something in there? That's exactly what this is. So this is like a custom tool now that's only for that one repair. Hopefully I can use it in other things, but like I said, a couple bucks, that wasn't a big deal. So there you have it. These tips I hope will help you out, along with the bracket modification and the other advice I gave you. I think it's a simple fix. I think it's a necessary fix, especially and only really if you're going to be getting rid of your air pump and your emission control stuff. And it's so much easier because without that fix, without the way that's set up like that, I would have to take all that bracket off. I have to take the alternator bracket, and if I had the air pump, I'd have to take that off just to get to that fitting there. And that fitting should last a while. So let's fingers crossed, right? All right, thanks for watching this video. This is Blackfinger Garage, and if you like it, subscribe, comment, let me know if it's something that you tried out, or if you have any other advice on how to do any other fixes. This is the kind of thing I like to do, and I hope to make more videos like this. So make sure you subscribe, click that notification button, and make more videos for you. Thanks.